Hi there. Sorry, caught me off guard there for 1 second. I'm Linda Hammond for Sparking Discovery, and this is Talk to Us Live. This particular show is usually where I spend time sharing the views and news of others in our industry with you, our viewers. But this evening, I will be sharing Chapter 3 of my life as an entrepreneur, the narrative, with you. So thanks for watching. So let's get into it. If you recall last week, I left you a link to a TED Talk by Bill Gross. He spoke of 5 critical success factors for startups. There were ideas, the team, and the execution, the business model, funding, and timing. And I think what was very interesting to me was the results. So we've got them up on the screen now, but you'll notice that by far, the biggest contributor to success is timing, followed by team and execution, and then the idea. And there's quite a gap between those as well. And I think most people think it's always in the business model or the financing. But just look at that model again. It's really interesting. And this lines up with my experience, 100%. My first venture, the ERP company, was ticking along nicely when the millennium bug hit. I was prepared. Remember, success is when opportunity meets preparation. I had built up identity capital. I had a credible business and great references. I was known in the market I was operating in. I had established social capital and had a great circle of influencers. I knew where to find talent and had numerous contacts in every field from logistics to programming. It was timing and preparation that allowed the opportunity, that specific opportunity, when offered, to result in success. And you realize that now. Isn't hindsight such an amazing science? If you recall, I established Talk to Us in 2000 because of my ability to build confidence in brands through the people, and because of my absolute belief that people potential was underestimated and companies' ability to unlock this potential was limited. I instinctively knew putting your people front and center in your business was the key to being a renowned, confident brand that was capable of taking on any competition, big or small, in the early 2000s. Sadly, business didn't feel the same in the early 2000s. So to some extent, I felt a bit like I was trying to sell dog food to people who didn't have dogs. Yeah, that explains it nicely. The corporate hierarchy, command and control, mentality, and a need to know closed culture were just not ready for the level of transparency that is required to obtain buy-in, goodwill, and establish confidence in a brand through your people. So I really struggled to find like-minded customers who shared this philosophy. Of course, I eventually did, and still have contact with many of them today, but it did mean that the road to success took longer. Again, I had the most amazing time working with clients who had the same beliefs, and together we had huge success and made great inroads. It was rewarding and exhilarating. Did I ever move slower? I wasn't able to throw 100% of my time into Talk to Us because my desire to give my children the same amount, if not more attention, was vitally important to me. My philosophy has always been, why have children if you're not prepared to bring them up yourself? They are, after all, my legacy. And therefore, putting in the effort was absolutely a non-negotiable. Managing this internal war was extremely difficult. I vacillated daily from frustration to delight when I watched them swim, to having a sense of achievement and or failure, and very many nervous breakdowns. Learning to not allow emotions to hijack you, but to rather use them to propel you forward is still something I practice every day. I call this being the best me that I want to be. I have an image of what I should be like. Some days I get it right, other days I fail miserably. But I've learned to forgive myself after a wee beating up, that is, to get up, get over, and get on with it again. So 2005, 2006 saw many of the social media platforms establishing themselves and thus opening up a whole new era in communication. The problem we had had since 2000 up until then was, how do we distribute information? That quickly became a thing of the past. Distributing information was no longer an issue. Being able to influence the message pre and post distribution became the area of focus for most companies. This opened up the floodgates to business leaders realizing that keeping their employees informed and in the know with regards what the organization's purpose was and how the narrative of the strategy impacted on the reputation of the organization became of paramount importance to them. And therefore, in 2006, we saw great growth in our business, and as a result of this change in mindset. Unfortunately, it was hamstrung by the economy in South Africa, with load shedding taking out many small businesses. But somehow we prevailed and used the time to yet again build identity capital for the brand. And in 2009, there was a turnaround. The economy picked up. Organizations realized that they needed to make hay while the sun shone from the previous bad economy, and Talk to Us was ready. We had the identity capital, the people potential, and the digital capital capability. Our business did incredibly well, and we considered selling. But at the last moment, we decided not to, as we could see conditions starting to turn again, especially in the country. And quite recently, with the hour 4.0 revolution and the digitization of everything, we have seen that organizations have once again fallen into the trap of focusing mainly on digitization strategies. But many of them haven't taken their people along with them, which to a certain extent has left them with a sense of frustration. They have embraced hour 5.0, they've invested heavily in digitizing their business, but are disappointed that the organization is still not performing in the manner they had envisioned and planned for. They're frustrated because their costly digitization efforts were not being adopted and are not being adopted by the employees. The employees, by and large, are feeling threatened. Makes sense. This reactive approach by business leaders slows their ability to meet deadlines and seize opportunities. The pandemic, I believe, is another inflection point. Two areas of inflection. Those organizations who haven't embraced Hour 4.0 are being forced to do so. And they're being forced to do it with their backs against the wall, and some may not make it. Many, on the other hand, have experienced the organization without its people, and it's not a pretty sight. More focus on taking employees with them, ensuring they have programs in place to deal with well-being, creating digital citizens, or if you will, the digitization of your employees, is now front and center. And once again, Talk to Us are prepared to seize this opportunity. This may have sounded a bit like a sales pitch to some. If it worked, great. The takeaway I want to leave you with is that it doesn't matter what business you have. You are very seldom always at the top or always at the bottom. As the economic climate and trends ebb and flow, so do opportunities. So the best advice I can give any business owner is to believe in yourself. Listen to your gut. Always be prepared. Don't drop your guard or stop learning about your chosen field. And then put your senses front and center. Feel the breeze from the open window of an opportunity and head on over for a good sniff around. So just to all those people who have been on this journey with me, that have been in the employ of either LinMax or Talk to Us, I just want to say thanks, guys. It's been a great, epic journey. I've learned a lot from every single one of you, and you all know who you are. And there have been plenty times when the chips have been down, and there have been plenty times when the chips have been up. And it's really been great working with you and learning with you, and I just want to thank you. And no, I'm not dying from cancer. I'm actually fine. I just thought it'd be a great opportunity to thank you. So for everybody else, if you found this useful or interesting, watch the next chapter next week, which will be a bit more about narrative. And it's not related to my entrepreneurship. It's just related to narratives and how they impact on on your psyche and on your business. Please reach out if you have a query or you'd like to share your experience. I'd love to hear it. Until next week, thank you for the privilege of your time. Don't forget to watch Rest the Cape tomorrow with Matt, where he'll give you some great ideas so that you can have yourself a wonderful weekend. Thanks once again, and good night.